Greetings, friends, and welcome back to Writer's Block. It's been a while since I've posted anything, and it's because I've been waiting. The Kindle version of my novel, The Weight of the Gods, has been available since the end of March. This is the end of April. Still waiting on the print-on-demand version, the paperback version, to be available. My publisher assures me that any day now I'm going to get an email saying it's ready. And that kind of, it becomes a real book. No offense to all of the Kindle readers. God bless you and thank you if you've bought my book. But it's not a real book till you hold it in your hand for a lot of people. And so I know I'll get a little bump, at least from friends, family, and people around me when that paperback is available. I'll also take it to the library. I can start doing some local publicity and try to generate some interest and hopefully get some sales out of it. I have been told, again, my publisher says that the book is doing well. I'm not sure what that means. I'll find out in September when I get my 6-month report on how much money the thing has actually made. And, then we'll move forward. So what do you do in the meantime when you're waiting? Well, I've been writing. I've written a lot. I've got about 34 stories out in different places, some poems, some flash fiction, some longer stories. I've got some stories that I've sent out over and over and over again that have been rejected over and over and over again. I write new stories all the time. And one of the things that I have done is gone back to my very first manuscript, The Divine Machine, or Divine Cosmic Machine, or depending on what day it is, what I want to call the thing. And I read through it and realized that my writing skills have grown. Again, this was the first novel that I wrote unexpectedly. Wasn't planning to write a novel, and I did. And then I wrote Dragon's Bride. Again, wasn't expecting to write a novel, but I did. And then I wrote Weight of the Gods. Weight of the Gods was the third manuscript that I wrote. And by that time, I felt pretty confident that my writing skills were good enough to query, and I managed to sell the thing. So I went back to that first novel and read through it again and realized that I can do better than this. My writing skills have grown quite a bit since then. And so I have been slowly reworking each chapter. I actually added a couple of chapters. I think I'm going to cut a couple of things. I want to not change the story as much as make it a little more accessible, make it a little more interesting, and, just make it better. And so, I've got another book, Dragon's Blood, that I started, another novel that I began, and I've shelved that for right now, not because I don't like the ideas, because I have too many ideas, and I need to figure out which book I'm going to write, because I've got about 3 different directions that I could go with it, and I'm not sure. So I'm going to go back and finish rewriting Divine Machine and query it, start all over again. Hopefully by that time I'll have a financial report from my first novel. Maybe that would be a little more enticing to literary agents out there. Hey, he actually wrote a book that sold some copies. Maybe. I don't know. In the meantime, I have been getting some feedback, which is interesting. Most of the time you just get the form rejections where thank you for submitting your story to whoever, and it does not meet our needs at this current time, or we really like the story but it just doesn't fit what we're doing, or your writing was really good but the story just isn't exactly what we're looking for, etc., etc., etc. So to get feedback is pretty interesting. I've gotten some very positive feedback. I really like this story. It's ready for publication. I only have room for so many, and it just wasn't one of them. Other people, we really, liked the idea. I did have one, and it's a comedy story, and they obviously didn't understand comedy, and so they kind of gave me a scathing, editorial comments about it. But when I read it, it kind of read almost like an AI, you know what I mean? AI is everywhere now. And so I feel like I got an AI, pan, but the machine didn't understand that it was funny. Now, this is a story that a friend of mine has read and told me is really funny. That was another little piece of feedback that I got. There was a little flash piece that I had submitted, and it made it to the top of the pile of possibilities. And so they told me, you're in the top 2%. You should feel good about that. And one of our readers said it was really effing funny. However, we didn't find room for it in our publication. That's just the way it goes. But that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to keep honing my skills. I'm going to keep writing because I enjoy writing. I have found that is what I like to do. And I'm going to keep just trying to get better at it and write that story that catches someone's attention and hopefully catches a lot of people's attention. It would be nice. Again, my 3 years from now, my goal is to be gaining some kind of revenue stream from my writing. By the time I'm 65, so I got 3 years to go. I started this journey a year and a half ago, and I already have a novel that has been published. I already have several pieces in different anthologies and websites, and I keep trying. And that's what I'm doing while I wait for the actual physical copy of my book to be in my hand so I can go and start saying, you should buy my book and read it. Anyway, I hope this encourages you. Again, don't be afraid to go back. One of the things I will quickly say, Merrick is my character in The Weight of the Gods, and Dragon's Bride will definitely be the follow-up for that. It's in the same world. Merrick is a part of that book. He's not the main protagonist, but he shows up and has an important role in it. And I've written several Merrick stories since then. And I went back and read the first one that I wrote. This is a story that's been rejected like 4 times. The last time was actually a publication said, we like this story. Please don't sell it out from under us. We haven't made our final decisions yet. And then I got the final decision, which was, yeah, we're not going to take it. I went back and reread it just the other day. Again, it's not a bad story, but I can do better. And so on my list of things to do is to go and rewrite that story to make it more concise, make it more interesting, make it fit with the canon of my character now, because there's a lot of stuff in it that I was just making up. First story I'd ever written about this guy. And turns out that none of that was true. The history part of it. I've got to, one of the things I want to do is stay, in continuum, make sure that your character isn't this today and that tomorrow. And yeah, I've got to go back and rewrite Foul Narcissus, which is a good story, but I can make it better. And so that's my encouragement to you. If you're out there trying to get started, writing, go back to those earlier works. Once you've written 100 stories, go read the first 10, and don't be afraid to polish them up and then send them out again. You'll make them better because you're getting better every time you write. Anyway, till we meet again, keep writing, and God bless.